Thanks, Leanne. Ask the Expert with Brenda Hollingsworth, and you can send us your questions. Live phone calls on the air, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, by email or on Facebook, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. Auger Hollingsworth with Ask the Expert, Brenda Hollingsworth. Good morning.
Good morning.
So here we go. Let's talk about collisions, car accidents. A lot of people choose to say collisions because some people believe there are no accidents. Someone's always at fault.
Yes.
Is that the case?
Generally speaking,
Okay.
yes. I mean, sometimes it's the weather, right? But then you're not driving for the weather conditions.
Right.
I mean, some people get quite worked up that people are calling it an accident, and they say it's preventable. You shouldn't be calling it an accident. But when lawyers use the word accident, we're talking about the fact that the driver didn't intend it.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
You know, like an intentional, well, we've had an intentional car accident recently,
Yes, we
right, in
have.
the news.
Yeah.
That's what we're differentiating, because that does happen.
Right. Okay. So there are a range of damages actually here,
Yes.
right? So for different events that happen in an accident.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Is there like a price list?
well, it's not exactly a price list. So we get a lot of questions. What is my case worth? Is probably the number one question we get. I don't think I've ever had a client or a prospective client who hasn't asked me that question.
Okay.
So it's not an easy answer. And I know they always think, oh, that's a lawyer just not giving us the straight goods. But it's never an easy answer because there's lots of different considerations.
Okay.
So when we're talking about your pain and suffering, which is what most people are thinking about, that's one number.
Okay.
If you've lost income, or you've missed out on opportunities or other kinds of economic loss like that, that's another category.
Okay.
If you're going to have long-term needs that are not covered by OHIP, like let's say long-term physiotherapy, or you have to have your house remodeled because you need a wheelchair,
Okay.
that's another category. And there are other categories too, like out-of-pocket expenses. So we call those heads of damages. There's lots of different heads of damages. So when we've talked in the past about pain and suffering, we've talked about the fact that in Canada, there's a cap on pain and suffering damages. And it's indexed to inflation, but right now it's between $340,000 and $350,000. $340,000.
Okay.
$350,000.
Which is very different than the numbers I hear on legal shows in the United States, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there is no cap.
Okay.
But across Canada, there is that cap, and it has been challenged. It's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So people still do get $1 million judgments here, but the pain and suffering component is never going to be higher than that capped number.
How does a decision come to $1 million settlement then? If you've got the one component that's at maximum $350,000 for pain and suffering, how do those others add up to $1 million?
Well, think about the 24-year-old who will never work again.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You just got your medical degree and you can never work again. That's a big number.
That's
right.
Right. A lifetime of earnings.
That's right.
Okay.
Or somebody who needs 24-hour care. Right. So that's how the numbers get pushed up. Typically, in a case that I have, the loss of income number is often bigger than the pain and suffering number.
Okay.
Or at least equal, especially in this town where people maybe miss out on a promotion and they're government workers. That's easy to quantify.
Right.
And so there's the loss of the promotion.
That's mathematical in the government.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all on Treasury Board. It's easy for us. And then there's also a loss to your pension, right? Because you're not at that higher level. So there's a loss to your pension. And we calculate that too.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as easy as getting your calculator out. We have accountants who do it for us.
Right.
But that's what makes the numbers so big.
Okay, we're going to talk with Brenda a little bit more about the things you might see in the press and how that sets your mindset in a certain direction. And we'll talk about why we see the discrepancies there and a whole lot more. Maybe take some of your questions as well. Questions with Brenda Hollingsworth from Auger Hollingsworth, Ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, by email, Facebook, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. There's the phone number, 789-6559, extension 2803. We're back with Ask the Expert.